Hi there, I'm Roger Johnson. This is Roger Johnson's America. Remember, if you love America, you'll like us. 2024, I headed out to California to visit Disneyland. While I was there on my trip, I took a day off to head north to San Francisco, California, to visit the Walt Disney Family Museum. That's coming up next. You're not going to want to miss it. I love to travel, and I love America. From the Purple Mountains' majesty and across the fruited plain, from sea to shining sea. I want you to join me as I celebrate America one adventure at a time. This is Roger Johnson's America. May of 2024, I was out in California visiting Disneyland. It had been about 5 years since I had been to Disneyland previously, and so I wanted to take advantage of my time out there and see as much as I can. So in addition to seeing all of the Walt Disney related historic sites in and around Los Angeles, I did decide I was going to take a day and head up to San Francisco and visit the Walt Disney Family Museum, the only major Walt Disney historic site that I had not been to previously. From Los Angeles, from Anaheim, the Disneyland area, up to San Francisco in the Presidio where the Walt Disney Family Museum is located. It's about a 7 or 8 hour drive. I do not recommend this drive specifically to go see this museum. It is a fantastic museum. Spoiler alert, but it's really not worth that kind of a drive for most people. I'm not most people. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked here. It was right up my alley, doing this massive road trip up to San Francisco. But before getting all the way up to San Francisco, I stopped for the night, got a hotel, and then the following morning, I proceeded to head to the museum. I got there right in the early hours, about an hour or so before the museum opened. Got a chance to check out the Presidio, the surrounding area. You can see fantastic views of the Golden Gate Bridge and San Francisco Bay. Beautiful spot. The museum opened October 1st, 2009. I had to check my notes here. It was co-founded by Diane Disney Miller, Walt Disney's daughter. She had been working on a number of different projects honoring her father over the years and ultimately decided that she wanted to build a museum in his honor and decided on the Presidio as the location for the museum. They had space available. It had previously been a military barracks that was being converted to civilian use, and there were buildings available for lease or rent or however they worked it. I'll say this right off the bat about the museum. For being a refurbished old Army barracks, they did a fantastic job of making that space their very own. It feels so much bigger on the inside than it does from the outside, from the front. There's 2 wings off the back, and you can't see those. And there's a courtyard in the middle. You can't see from the front either. And so there's depth back there that you can't see from the outside of the building. And it's really cool. After you purchase your ticket, you head on in, and there are display case after display case after display case of all the different awards and recognitions and honors that Walt Disney had achieved and received over his lifetime, including numerous Oscars, including there's the classic Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs Oscar, the big Oscar with 7 little Oscars that was presented to him by Shirley Temple.
Isn't it bright and shiny?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Aren't you proud of it, Mr. Disney?
Well, I'm so proud I think I'll bust.
From there, then, the museum essentially traces the life of Walt Disney from being born in Chicago to early years in Marceline and Kansas City, and then going off to France at the end of World War I, where he drove an ambulance. They've got an ambulance there. It's very much like the one that you see photos of him with, standing next to when he was just a lad. As I mentioned, it is a really well laid out museum. You go through the early years and his boyhood and into adulthood, and then you head upstairs and come back towards the front of the building and the early years of filmmaking, and then through to Snow White and all of the different things that he did as a filmmaker in Los Angeles. One of the coolest things about the museum, I think it's the coolest thing, you head out of the original building, of the original barracks, to where the courtyard of that building would have been, it's kind of a long hallway, big glass windows on one side, and then various displays on the other. At the very end of the hallway, there is a bench. Finally, a bench you can sit down. No, it wasn't just any bench. It is a bench that was at Griffith Park where the carousel was. Walt Disney had talked about this. He would take his daughters to Griffith Park and they would ride the carousel and he would sit on that bench. And that experience, among others, was one of the things that led to him coming up with the idea of creating Disneyland. Something else that helped give Walt the idea of building Disneyland was his backyard railroad, the Carrollwood Pacific Railroad. From the bench, you go on in and there's a big 2-story tall area. And you go in there and there's a small miniature train. That is the train that Walt Disney actually had in his backyard railroad. The Lily Bell and all of the original cars. It's really cool, especially if you're a train buff like me. And so as you follow the train, you head down a ramp and it goes around. I kind of got yelled at a little bit. They've got the coolest model of Disneyland. One of the coolest models of Disneyland I've ever seen. They're all cool. Anyway, you're kind of above it and looking down, and there I was holding my cell phone, and the museum employee that was standing there said, "Hey, don't do that." Clearly, yeah, they don't want you to drop your phone down on that priceless model. And you go through there and the history of Disneyland and all kinds of really cool artifacts, and then as you exit that area, you go back into the old barracks, and there's a display about Walt Disney's passing and the world mourning for his loss. He made a huge impact on culture, not just of the United States, but of the world. From there, even though they're not officially connected to the Walt Disney Company, you do exit into the gift shop. I don't remember if it was directly there or anyway. It's a cool museum. I don't remember exactly how much time I spent in the museum, but it was definitely well worth my time to go and visit it. Well worth the drive up there from Los Angeles to San Francisco. And again, I don't recommend doing that, but if you are in San Francisco, if you're looking for something to do, particularly if you're a fan of Walt Disney and the Walt Disney Company and all of their fantastic products that they had put out over the years, definitely put that on your list. So I'm going to wrap up this video, call it an adventure. Tune in next time for something else. Until then, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again real soon.